Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today it's another Wednesday, which means there's a new episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney+. We're up to part 4 now, so I just want to kind of get into a little bit of predictions that I have for this episode, and maybe a little bit going forward, but pretty much just this episode. And then I'll get right into the, watching it and then letting you know what I think. So in this episode, I think that, because the only thing I know is I have it loaded up and all I know is it says Obi-Wan plots a mission. So I think that he's, a lot of it's going to be him recovering. His arm was pretty badly burned. I don't think he's going to be doing much but recovering, maybe a little bit of training. And I think he's going to realize that he needs allies. And I don't know who those are going to be. I mean, there's been a lot of rumors, like maybe it could be Cal Kestis from the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order video game. There's a lot of people it could be. So it could be anyone from like the animated shows. It could just be him reaching out to his master and finally, getting contacted with him. So I think that that's what this episode's going to mostly be. Him recovering. It's going to be a little bit slower, a little bit less action. I could be wrong. That's just my, my guess. But I'm going to get into it right now. I will be back in a few moments and I will let you know my thoughts and my review of the episode. So let's get into it. Okay, so I just finished part 4 and it actually was different than I expected. So I thought, like I said, it would be a lot of like downtime, a lot of him healing. I thought maybe, I know I didn't say this in the intro, but like as I started watching it, I was like, oh, that'd be cool if, as soon as they put Obi-Wan in the bacta tank, I thought that'd be cool if, they show Vader and him in bacta tanks, which they did. But then they show maybe some flashbacks, either to scenes from the prequels or like new scenes they filmed from that time. They didn't do that, but that's fine. I thought that would be cool. Part of this episode takes place on Jabim, which is where this like group of rebels is camped out. It's where Obi-Wan heals up a little bit in the bacta tank, although not fully. Most of the episode, though, takes place on what they call the Fortress Inquisitorius. So this is the fortress that Cal Kestis breaks into, and since he has such knowledge of the building, I thought it'd be cool if he helped Obi-Wan, but again, I understand the logistics of that are pretty crazy. Now, we also get some good scenes between Reva and Leia in this episode. Leia was, of course, captured at the end of last week's episode, and Reva's trying to use her to find out where this group of rebels is hiding out. In these scenes between Reva and Leia, we do get some great dialogue with, of course, Leia's sassy attitude and Reva's just cold-hearted attitude. But what we also see is when Reva tries to use the Force on Leia's mind, she's able to resist, which is, of course, because she is Anakin Skywalker's daughter. So you can see that she is strong in the Force even at such a young age. Something else about this episode I liked a lot is we get more Obi-Wan scenes with his lightsaber. I'm going to put a clip in a second so you can see exactly what I'm talking about when I say this, but you can tell he's getting a little more like used to the motions of everything, and even at one point he looks at it, so you can kind of tell he is getting a little more used to using the lightsaber. And I really hope that by the end, I know there's 2 episodes left, I'm really hoping by the end we get like at least a couple of, I don't want just one, I want like 2 or 3 really good lightsaber battles with him, maybe with a couple Inquisitors and then with Vader. I think that would be awesome. But I'm going to put that clip in now to show you what I'm talking about. This is the Obi-Wan scene I was talking about, where you can see as he's deflecting bullets, he seems a little rusty, and he does miss a deflection there, which, is just because of the rust that he has. And then right there, he almost seems surprised he deflected it back at him. And you can see now that he's starting to get in his groove and become the old Jedi Master he was. And then we also get another kind of clip of Vader kind of demonstrating that power that he has. We saw in last week's episode that he just like was walking down the town, kind of like an old Western, and just like killing people left and right. We get another scene to show his power. And when you just see Vader walking in this room and he just throws Reva around, she's supposed to be such a powerful Inquisitor, and he just walks in and just throws her around like a doll. See the other Inquisitor there smirking, which I thought was hilarious, but Vader just shows his power, just one arm, lifts her up, chokes her. Of course, he winds up letting her down because she does let him know that she allowed Obi-Wan to escape because she put a bug or a tracker on him. And that's when Vader, for a moment, says he may have underestimated Reva, but of course he's going to see where her plan goes before he decides her fate. And then, of course, we end the episode with finding out that that bug or that tracker that Reva was telling Vader about is Lola. Now, as soon as she said that it follows him everywhere he goes, I was like, oh, it's Leia. She must have bugged Leia, and they just didn't realize or something. I didn't even realize it would be Lola at first, but that was really good. It makes sense because she had Lola while Leia was being, almost being interrogated. So I thought that was a nice little addition. So now my predictions for next week, because this week's episode I thought was great. I've liked every episode so far. Next week, though, we get into interesting territory because it's the second to last episode. So now we really need to have a lot of progression here. Like, obviously, it's all going to end with Obi-Wan on Tatooine. And, sorry, the cats are making a lot of noise. Obi-Wan's going to be on Tatooine watching over Luke. Leia's going to be back on Alderaan. So what I think is going to happen next week's episode is I think that, Vader and the Inquisitors are going to go to Jabim, where this rebel group is hiding out, and they're going to attack. There might be a little fight between Obi-Wan and Vader, but I think he's actually going to fight an Inquisitor. I think it could be Reva, but I actually think he's going to fight either Fifth Brother or there's another one too. I don't actually even think they've said her name. She's maybe spoken like one line. She's kind of like a background Inquisitor. I think he's going to fight one of them and kill them. And then in the final episode, he'll maybe fight Reva a little bit, but also obviously fight Vader and have that final battle. But for next week's, I think there's going to be a big fight on Jabim, and Obi-Wan will fight and kill an Inquisitor. So that is my prediction for next week. All in all, this week's episode was really good. I think it just continued the story really great. I think there's a few things they could have done. Of course, that's... I said earlier that it would have been cool if they got Cal Kestis because they were on Fortress Inquisitorius, and that was a big part of the ending of his video game. But, that's getting a whole actor and doing all this stuff. It's easier said than done, so I do understand. But I did also want to share in this video that if you haven't seen, there have been a ton of rumors lately that Season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which was supposed to be a limited series, but that Season 2 is in early development. Now, there have been talks from Lucasfilm and from Obi-Wan actor Ewan McGregor, who have said they're both interested, as long as they could tell a story that made sense as to why Obi-Wan would leave Tatooine again, or why he would be doing whatever he's doing on Tatooine. They have to be able to tell the story to fully connect it to A New Hope. So obviously no one can find out he's hiding out on Tatooine. They also have to just be able to tell a story that makes sense. You don't want to tell a whole story about something that doesn't make any sense. This story is about him getting his hope back, right? We saw in the first 2 episodes, he was a shell of his old self. And in this one, he just invaded one of the biggest fortresses in the Empire's history and got Leia back and went toe-to-toe with the Empire. So, I think so far it's been doing a really good job. And I think that a Season 2 could be really good, but I think they should not do a continuous, shows will do a continuous thing, Season 1 carries to 2, almost make them separate stories. I think that would be a really cool idea. But this was a great episode. I can't wait for next week's, and then the finale is going to be amazing. So I really hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please like this video. Leave a comment if there's anything that you think I missed or anything you're excited for in next week's episode. And stay tuned. The next 2 Wednesdays, there will be a review each one until the end of the show. All right, so if you're not subscribed already, please get subscribed. Trying to hit 100 subscribers as soon as possible. Super excited to do that. And hit the bell to be notified for each of the review episodes, as well as any other theme park or just fun videos that I'm posting too. All right, so we'll see you next Wednesday, and for any other videos I post in the meantime.